Hey, fellow fantasy fans, ready to escape into a world of, sizzling magic, forbidden romance, and Fae intrigue. Today we're diving deep into Quicksilver by Callie Hart, specifically the audiobook version on Amazon. You've got a 20-plus hour listen ahead of you, and we're here to help you decide, is this book worth the commitment? What are the hidden gems in those reviews?
You know what's really intriguing here is that we're not just looking at a blurb. The Amazon page is packed with reviews from listeners who've already ventured into this world. Think of it like getting insider tips from seasoned travelers before you embark on your own adventure.
Okay, so let's set the stage. Our heroine, Saeris Fane, lives in a harsh desert land, think scorching sun sand as far as the eye can see.
Oh, wow.
But she harbors a secret alchemical powers. And it's not just your typical potion brewing kind of alchemy. The reviewers hinted something far more powerful, something that makes her a force to be reckoned with.
And as fate would have it, like any good fantasy heroine, she stumbles upon a gateway to another realm. But this isn't just some whimsical portal. The book's description warns, do not touch the sword, do not turn the key, do not open the gate. Talk about a recipe for disaster, right? Naturally, Saeris, being the bold heroine she is, ignores all the warnings and steps right through.
And bam, she finds herself in Yvelia, a land of ice and snow, home to the Fae.
Okay.
But these aren't your Tinkerbell-style Fae. They're powerful, dangerous, and embroiled in a conflict that's been simmering for centuries. And did I mention she encounters death himself? We're talking about a world where the stakes are high, the lines between good and evil are blurred, and nothing is as it seems.
What's fascinating is that this clash of worlds, fire, and ice, desert, and snow is a recurring theme in the reviews. It's not just a visual contrast. It seems to play a significant role in shaping the magic system, the characters, and the overall conflict.
Okay, before we get lost in the icy landscapes, let's talk about the characters. Saeris, our alchemist heroine, is a favorite among reviewers. They praise her strength, her resourcefulness, and the way she keeps those alchemical powers close to her chest. It's like she's got this hidden fire within her waiting to be unleashed. What really resonated with readers is that she's not just a warrior, she's relatable. She's got flaws, she makes mistakes, and she's constantly learning and adapting.
And on the other side of this fiery heroine, we have Kingfisher, a Fae warrior with his own agenda. The reviewers, they can't get enough of him. Handsome, brooding, and shrouded in mystery. Sounds like the perfect recipe for a book boyfriend, right? But there's a twist. His past is described as murky, his motives nefarious, and his methods often stray from the straight and narrow path. We're not dealing with a knight in shining armor here. This Fae warrior has a darkness to him, a complexity that makes him all the more intriguing.
It sounds like the author has created a dynamic duo, a fire-wielding alchemist and a shadow-dwelling Fae warrior. But how do they interact? Are they allies, enemies, or something in between?
Well, that's where things get really interesting. The reviews consistently point to an enemies to lovers trope, but it's not your typical love-at-first-sight scenario. Reviewers call it a slow burn, a gradual buildup of tension, mistrust, and ultimately an undeniable attraction. They clash, they challenge each other, and yet there's this underlying chemistry that simmers beneath the surface.
Ooh, that slow burn tension is what keeps you hooked, right? And speaking of hooked, several reviewers mentioned that the audiobook with its duet narration really enhances the romantic tension. Imagine hearing Saeris' fiery spirit and Kingfisher's icy demeanor brought to life by two distinct voices. It's like adding fuel to the fire, so to speak.
What's particularly intriguing is that the audiobook narrators Stella Bloom and Anthony Palmini are consistently praised in the reviews. They don't just read the words, they embody the characters, adding another layer of depth to the storytelling. It seems like they capture those subtle nuances, the unspoken emotions that simmer beneath the surface, making the listening experience all the more immersive. And it's not just the narrators who bring this world to life. The reviewers rave about the world building, especially the stark contrast between Saeris' sun-baked desert homeland and the icy, ethereal realm of the Fae. You've got these two extremes, fire and ice, coexisting and clashing, creating a truly unique and immersive landscape.
It's like the author has taken those classic fantasy elements, fire, ice, magic, Fae, and woven them into something entirely new and unexpected. It's not just a backdrop for the story, it's a character in itself.
What's interesting is that the reviewers highlight how this contrast isn't just visual. It seeps into every aspect of the story, from the magic system to the characters' personalities. You can almost feel the heat of Saeris' alchemical powers clashing with the icy, almost ethereal magic of the Fae.
So we've got these two contrasting worlds, a fiery heroine and a brooding Fae warrior with a shadowy past. But what about the plot itself? What's the driving force behind the story?
Well, the reviewers describe it as fast-paced, action-packed, and full of twists and turns that keep you guessing until the very end. It's not just a slow burn romance, there's a real sense of urgency, a conflict that's been brewing for centuries and threatens to erupt at any moment.
It sounds like there's never a dull moment. And those twists and turns, those unexpected revelations are what keep you hooked, right? You're constantly on the edge of your seat wondering what's going to happen next, who's going to betray whom, and what secrets will be revealed.
And amidst all the action and intrigue, there's a deeper layer to the story. Reviewers mention themes of identity, belonging, and the consequences of choices. Saeris, ripped from her familiar desert world and thrust into this icy alien realm, has to figure out where she belongs, who she can trust, and what she's willing to fight for.
It's like she's caught between two worlds, two identities, and has to forge her own path. And speaking of forging paths, let's talk about that magic system. We know Saeris has alchemical powers, but what exactly does that mean in this world? What can she do?
That's where things get really interesting. The reviewers are a bit tight-lipped about the specifics, but they hint at a magic system that's both beautiful and dangerous. Saeris' alchemy isn't just about brewing potions or transmuting metals. It's about manipulating the very essence of creation, the fundamental building blocks of life itself.
Wow, that sounds incredibly powerful,
Yeah.
but also potentially dangerous, right? If she can manipulate the essence of life, what's to stop her from becoming a godlike figure, or even worse, causing unintended destruction?
Exactly, and that seems to be the heart of the conflict, both within Saeris herself and in the larger world. The reviewer suggests that her powers come with a price, a burden she has to carry, and a constant struggle to maintain control.
It's like she's walking a tightrope between creation and destruction, and one wrong step could have devastating consequences. And then there's Kingfisher, with his own mysterious abilities. What do the reviewers say about his powers?
That's where things get even more intriguing. The reviews are shrouded in mystery when it comes to Kingfisher's powers, almost as if they're afraid to spoil the surprise. They use words like shadowy, ethereal, and even soul-binding, hinting at a power that's connected to the very fabric of the Fae realm.
So we've got this fiery alchemist who can manipulate life itself, and a shadowy Fae warrior with powers tied to the soul. It sounds like an explosive combination. But how does their magic affect their relationship? Does it draw them together or push them further apart?
That's a great question, and one that the reviewers seem to delight in teasing. They talk about moments of intense connection where their powers intertwine, creating a synergy that's both beautiful and dangerous.
Ooh, that sounds intense. It's
Yeah.
like their magic is a reflection of their relationship, a constant push and pull between light and darkness, creation and destruction.
Exactly, and amidst all the action, the intrigue, and the simmering romance, there's a sense of humor woven throughout the story. The reviewers mention witty banter, clever dialogue, and moments that made them laugh out loud.
It's like the author knows how to balance those intense moments with a touch of lightness, a reminder that even in the darkest of worlds, there's always room for laughter. And that's what makes a story truly engaging, right? It's that blend of action, romance, humor, and those deeper thought-provoking themes that keep you hooked.
Absolutely, and it seems like Callie Hart has mastered that blend. The reviewers consistently praise her writing style, using words like phenomenal, evocative, and even breathtaking.
But what exactly is it about her writing that captivates readers? Is it the vivid descriptions, the sharp dialogue, or the way she delves into those complex emotions?
It seems like it's a combination of all those elements. Reviewers specifically mention her ability to create a sense of place, to make you feel like you're right there in the story, experiencing the heat of the desert or the chill of the Fae realm. They also praise her character development, the way she creates characters who are flawed, complex, and ultimately relatable.
It's like she doesn't shy away from the messiness of human nature, even in a fantastical setting. She shows us the struggles, the vulnerabilities, and the triumphs that make these characters feel real, even if they wield magic and consort with Fae.
And it seems like that authenticity, that willingness to explore the depths of human emotion is what truly resonates with readers. They talk about feeling a connection with Saeris, understanding her struggles, and rooting for her to overcome the challenges she faces.
It's like she's become more than just a character in a book. She's a reflection of ourselves, our own hopes, fears, and aspirations. And that's what makes a story truly powerful, right? It's that ability to connect with us on a human level, to make us feel seen and understood, even in a world of magic and Fae.
And it seems like Quicksilver achieves that connection. It's not just a story about magic and romance, it's a story about finding your place in the world, about embracing your power, and about fighting for what you believe in, even when the odds are stacked against you.
It's a story about hope, resilience, and the enduring strength of the human spirit, even in the face of darkness and uncertainty. And that's a message that resonates with all of us, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. It's a reminder that no matter how challenging life gets, no matter how lost or alone we might feel, there's always a spark of hope within us, a fire that can't be extinguished. And sometimes all it takes is a story, a world of magic and wonder to reignite that spark and remind us of our own strength and potential.
It sounds like Quicksilver offers a truly immersive experience, a world you can get lost in with characters that stay with you long after you finish listening. But let's get down to brass tacks. We've touched on the glowing reviews, the intricate world building, and that sizzling slow burn romance. What are some of the specific details that really stood out to those who've already journeyed through this world?
One thing that pops up repeatedly is the relationship between Saeris and her animal companion, Onyx. It's not just a throwaway pet dynamic. Reviewers describe their bond as heartwarming, fiercely loyal, and even laugh out loud funny at times. It seems Onyx brings a touch of warmth and levity to even the most intense moments, reminding Saeris and the reader that even in a world of shadows, there's always room for light.
It sounds like that companionship adds a whole other dimension to Saeris' journey. She's not alone in facing these challenges. She's got this furry guardian by her side.
Yeah.
And speaking of intriguing companions, several reviewers mentioned a side character named Carrion. He seems to be shrouded in mystery with a backstory that has readers clamoring for more. Have you picked up on any hints about who he might be?
That's the beauty of a well-crafted side character, isn't it? They leave you wanting more with just enough breadcrumbs to spark your curiosity. From the reviews, we can gather that Carrion is somehow connected to Kingfisher, possibly an ally, possibly something more, but his motives are ambiguous, his past shrouded in shadows. It's clear that Callie Hart has big plans for this character, and readers are already eagerly anticipating his story unfolding in future books.
It's like those side characters add another layer of intrigue, another thread in this richly woven tapestry. And you know, those breadcrumbs, those hints and whispers are going to have readers coming up with their own theories and predictions. It's all part of the fun, right? Getting lost in the speculation, the what-ifs, and the endless possibilities.
Absolutely. It sparks those post-book discussions, the "did you notice this?" and "what do you think will happen next?" conversations that keep the story alive long after you finish listening. And speaking of things that keep you hooked, the reviewers also highlighted the ending. Now, without giving away any spoilers, they describe it as a major cliffhanger. One that leaves you breathless, heart-pounding, and desperate for the next installment.
Ooh, a cliffhanger. The best kind leaves you satisfied with the journey so far, but absolutely craving more. It's like the author has masterfully woven this intricate web of plot threads, and just when you think you've untangled them all, she snips one loose, leaving you hanging on the edge of your seat. It's risky, but when it's done well, it's oh so effective.
It takes a skilled storyteller to pull off a cliffhanger that leaves you wanting more without feeling cheated. And from the reviews, it seems Callie Hart has struck that perfect balance. Readers are buzzing with theories, eagerly anticipating the next book to see how it all unfolds.
So if you're the kind of listener who loves to dive deep into a world, who relishes those moments of suspense and those lingering questions that keep you up at night, then Quicksilver might be just the ticket.
It's a story that rewards close attention with layers of meaning waiting to be uncovered, subtle clues to decipher, and characters whose motives are constantly shifting. It's not a passive listening experience, it's an invitation to actively engage with the story, to become a part of the world, and to unravel the mysteries alongside Saeris and Kingfisher.
But even with all this talk of mystery, intrigue, and heart-stopping cliffhangers, let's not forget the core of this story, a forbidden romance between a fiery alchemist and a shadowy Fae warrior.
A classic pairing with a twist. What makes this romance stand out is the depth of the characters, the slow burn tension, and the way their powers intertwine with their emotions. It's not just a physical attraction, it's a clash of wills, a battle for dominance, and an exploration of what it means to surrender to a love that could consume you entirely.
It sounds like Quicksilver offers a feast for the senses. A story that will ignite your imagination, set your heart racing, and leave you utterly spellbound. But the real magic begins when you close the book, or in this case hit pause, and those lingering questions start to swirl.
Exactly. Quicksilver isn't just a story, it's a conversation starter. It's a catalyst for pondering those deeper themes, those universal truths about love, loss, identity, and the choices we make that shape our destiny.
So dear listener, as you embark on your own journey through this world of fire and ice, of forbidden magic and heart-stopping romance, we leave you with this. What choices would you make if faced with Saeris' dilemmas? Would you have the courage to step through that forbidden gate? Would you risk everything for a love that defies the boundaries of worlds?
Keep those questions in mind as you delve into Quicksilver, because in this world, the lines between right and wrong are blurred, and the path to power is paved with sacrifice, betrayal, and the enduring strength of the human heart.
And that, my friends, is the beauty of a good deep dive. It's about more than just summarizing a book. It's about sparking those conversations, those moments of reflection, and those lingering questions that stay with us long after the final page is turned. Until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep those imaginative fires burning.